Welcome back to another edition of the Awake and Aware Radio Show. This is your host, Infinite Consciousness, commonly known as Jason. If you'd like to access the archive of all the past Awake and Aware radio shows, please go to www.blogtalkradio.com/infinite consciousness. Check out the new website for Awake, Aware, and Part of the Solution at www.awakeawareandpartofthesolution.com. You can access our radio shows, upcoming shows, daily articles, and information presented, a discussion page, and whatever else you would like to do with the page. You can also view Awake and Aware Radio on YouTube. Check out Awake, Aware, and Part of the Solution on Facebook, and also check out Freedom from Compulsions at www.freedomfromcompulsions.vpweb.com. Last week was the second part of the two-part series on the history of mind control, going from ancient times to modern times, citing documented projects. This week we'll be discussing the interconnection of all things that creates one infinite consciousness that we all are. I'd like to give credit to Enoch Tan, Tania Katsos, One Mind, One Energy, Nibiru News, and Sequoia Elizabeth for some of this information presented. I would also suggest our listeners to listen to the past show we did on the holographic universe regarding the holographic nature of reality. Everything in this universe is consciousness. Space and time and all planes of reality are only projections within universal consciousness. There really is no here or there, for everything is at one place where mind is. Mind does not move at all. Mind simply is. Mind is everywhere, yet nowhere. Mind is nowhere but here, now. We are all existing together as a singularity in one place and time. Everything is one, here and now. Several events in different places that are moving in synchronization may actually be the movements of the same event. Imagine a fighter jet flying in the sky with several video cameras recording its movements from different angles. Each recording is displayed on different screens. When the fighter jet displayed on one screen turns or moves in a different direction, all the other fighter jets in the other screens simultaneously move in a correlated manner. Everyday experience is a projected reality where things only appear to be separated in time and space. In a deeper reality, we are all members of the same body. When one part of the body moves, every other part is instantly affected. Separation is an illusion. There is a dimension of reality where we are all inseparably one. When we feel love in any form, it has the effect of beginning to shatter that illusion. When two electrons collide, they exchange energy and information with each other. From then onwards, no matter where one electron is, you will be able to tell the location and momentum of the other. When a change occurs in one electron, it will immediately be reflected in the other. You're always able to know in one what is going on in the other. When you cause change in one, you cause change in the other. We exchange portions of our energy fields with each other when we come into contact. Therefore, we remain inseparably connected at all times. Imagine the universe is an ocean, and each of us is a wave in that ocean. That wave and the ocean are the same. We are the universe located in a single point in space-time. The soul has two parts. It is both local and non-local. Part of you is localized and part of you is non-local and connected to everything. You are the universe located in your body. Not all your thoughts, wishes, and desires are actually your thoughts, wishes, and desires. Part of them are the very intentions of the universe. The spirit in me is the same as the spirit in you, and the spirit in all beings. Enlightenment is the realization that you are the universal spirit observing from the particular point of view. Each of us is the universal spirit projecting a particular point of view. Myself is inseparable from all that exists, just as yourself is inseparable from all that exists. You are an aspect of infinite intelligence, and infinite intelligence is the source of all that exists. Therefore, you are the source of all that exists, and you create your own experience. Everything is possible because everything exists within you. The same unbounded potential of the infinite spirit also resides in each and every one of us. Your soul is the reflection of all souls. You are the other. Without the other, you would not exist. You are defined by your relationships with others. You would need to describe the whole universe in order to define a single person. Therefore, every single person is the whole universe. Your soul is both personal and universal at the same time. Everyone is a reflection of yourself. You are in a hall of mirrors where every reflection of yourself appears different. Others you admire reflect the qualities you most cherish in yourself. Others you detest reflect the qualities you most deny in yourself. Each person you see is a different version of you. All the cells in your body start from just one cell. That one cell in the womb is fertilized, grows, and divides into two. The two cells grow and divide into four. This process happens 50 times until there are 100,000 billion cells in your body. That's where the replication stops. Just as a single cell in the womb differentiates into brain cells, nerve cells, and retinal cells, and through them gives us an experience of the world, so does the single spirit differentiates into all observers and observations, inner world and outer world. The outer world is a mirror of yourself at any place and time. If you want to know the state of your personal consciousness, just look around and see what is happening to you. If you want to know the state of the collective consciousness, just look around at what is happening in the world. Your personal reality is synchronistically orchestrated by the sense of self at all times. If a critical mass of people express their higher selves, they would cause a transformation in collective consciousness and the world of reality. Every time a person rises in personal consciousness, he moves the state of the world towards a higher one than before. The whole universe is one reality, which is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is absolute existence. In the beginning, the one differentiated into the many. The one entered into the many and became the self of each. The being within everything is the one. When you merge with this non-local self, you become one with the self of all that exists. The one is the higher self of all. You are the one. People usually think we have a conscious and subconscious mind that are apart from each other. The truth is, it is all consciousness. It is all one mind. What we think of as one aspect of the subconscious is actually an inner level of consciousness. By moving our awareness inwards, we make the unconscious conscious. We begin to know what we are really conscious of at a deeper level. This is how we tune into our intuition. Inner consciousness is more powerful than outer consciousness. For that reason, you could say that the subconscious is greater than consciousness, but the definition of consciousness being used here is the total and true one. It is the awareness consciousness. It can move across different dimensions of the mind. It can travel inwards and outwards. The subconscious is also the consciousness of the body. The body is another aspect of the subconscious mind. Our physiology affects our emotions because we do something with our body. We are causing it to think in a certain way. Our body is a different form of mind existing and working together alongside ours. We can say that this aspect of subconscious is a lower form of consciousness than our own. The mind of our body is servant to the mind of our inner being. When we move our awareness inwards to the level of superconscious, we can hear the voice of collective consciousness. That is where we get divine inspiration and guidance. Intuition gets clearer and more powerful at this level. The subconsciousness, or the subconscious rather, is the universal mind. It has two aspects. The first aspect is that of infinite intelligence that governs the whole universe. The second is that of the collective consciousness of everyone and everything that exists in all levels of reality. The totality of all mind which is existence. There is a single intelligent consciousness that pervades the entire universe, the universal mind. It is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-creative, and always present. As it is present everywhere at the same time, it follows that it must also be present in you, that it is you. Your mind is part of the one universal mind. This is not simply a philosophical ideal passed down to us through the ages. It is an exact scientific truth. Know it, believe it, apply it, and you will see your life transform in miraculous ways. Albert Einstein told us that everything is energy, that a human being is part of the whole called by us the universe. His words echoed the most ancient of spiritual and philosophical teachings and still underpin today's cutting-edge scientific discoveries. The universal mind goes by many names. In the scientific world, we know it of the universal field. In spiritual philosophy, we refer to the all, or universal consciousness, and in religion, we call upon God, who goes by many names, Jehovah, Allah, and Brahman, to mention but a few. The name is relevant only insofar as it resonates with you. Whichever way you cut it, you come to this one unavoidable conclusion. There is but one consciousness of which your consciousness must be a part, and a part, as Charles Hannell said, must be, quote, must be the same in kind and quality as the whole, the only difference being one of degree, end quote. The nature of the universal mind is omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, all-creative, and omnipresence, always present. Know that this too is your nature. You have access to all knowledge, known and unknown. You have access to an infinite power. for which nothing is impossible. You have access to the limitless creativity of the one Creator. All these attributes are present within you at all times in their potential form. It is up to you to know and act upon your own nature. The inscription on the ancient Greek temple of Apollo at Delphi left no room for misunderstanding. Quote, "Know thyself, and thou shalt know all the mysteries of the gods and the universe." End quote. It is through the power of your subconscious mind and your higher self that you can learn to align yourself with the omniscience, and omnificence of the universal mind at all times. Each and every one of us is a manifestation of the single universal consciousness. There is profound truth in the ancient teaching that we are all one. We are all connected not only to each other, but to all of nature and to everything in the universe. This is the law of one. What you do to others, you do to yourself. The way you treat nature, you in fact treat yourself. The separateness you see is an illusion of the personality ego. The true nature of reality is non-dualistic, meaning that while things may appear distinct, they are not separate. You are able to create your ideal reality because you are already connected to everything you want. Nothing and no one is separate from you. You can experience happiness, true love, perfect health, abundance, wealth, and anything else you intend. All you have to do is bring yourself into vibrational harmony with the nature of that which you want to experience through the creative power of your thoughts. To become the master of your destiny, you must master your thoughts. In a nutshell, there is a single consciousness, the universal mind, which pervades the entire universe. It is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-creative, and always present everywhere at the same time. Your consciousness is a part of it. It is it. All is one. You are connected to everything and everyone. You are already connected what you want. To the degree that you truly comprehend and internalize this truth, you will be able to become the master of your mind and the director of your life. Are stars, space, planets, animals, people, and everything around us connected to each other? Are we all one universal mind, one energy? According to the Kabbalion Hermetic philosophy, a book published in 1912 claiming to be the essence of the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, excuse me for the mispronunciation, there are 7 universal laws, and the first one is 1. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. The principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that all, which is the substantial reality underlying all, the outward manifestations and appearances, which we know under the terms of the material universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our material senses, is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, which may be considered and thought of as all universal, infinite living mind. The American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson, 1803 to 1882, believed that, quote, all creation is one, end quote, and that people should try to live a simple life in harmony with nature and with others. He describes the currents of the universal being circulated through him. He also said, quote, I am part of or particle of God, end quote. The unified field, the fabric of the universe that connects us all. Scientists are realizing that space is not empty space. Stuart Hermeroff, MD, director of the Center of Consciousness Studies, stated, quote, there is something there. If we go down the scale in the emptiness, eventually we come to a level, the fundamental level of space, time, geometry. Here we find information, a pattern, the Planck scale, which has been there since the Big Bang, end quote. Fred Alan Wolf, PhD, there is no empty space when we go down, down, down. There is vibration, stuff popping, invisible connections, entanglement. John Hagelin, PhD, it is like a thought wave, invisible state, or quantum wave function spread over time or space and time. Not a wave or matter. By wave in what? In a universal ocean, an ocean of pure potentiality, a unified field, superstring field, that of which we are all made of. Some people call this the Matrix, like author Greg Braden in his groundbreaking book, The Divine Matrix. Braden is referring to the universe being founded upon 4 characteristics of the Divine Matrix that makes things work in the way they do. These 4 characteristics or discoveries are: Discovery 1, there is a field of energy that connects all of creation. Discovery 2, this field plays the role of a container, a bridge and mirror for the beliefs within us. Discovery 3, this field is non-local and holographic. Every part of it is connected to every other, and each piece mirrors the whole on a smaller scale. Discovery 4, we communicate with the field through the language of emotion. How does this relate to you and me, to everyone on this planet? It's hard to grasp, but if you can keep an open mind and submit to the idea that we are all connected to each other in this invisible web of energy thread, it all starts to make sense. We are all part of one mind or consciousness in this sea of energy where everything is vibrating at one speed or another. What is then the language of the vibration? How do we then communicate in this sea of energy? It is through our feelings and emotions. They are used to describe as the conscious awareness of the vibration we are in. So if we think of something and add feeling, emotion to it, we are sending out powerful vibrations. This means that all of you are energy and everything around you is energy, and you are connected with everything. You are part of universal consciousness, a particle of the source itself, or as someone likes to put it, you are part of God and God is in you, meaning that God is everywhere. Everything you do, how you behave, and how you think and feel will be vibrated into this field of energy, and hence it has affected everyone in it, either directly or indirectly. We are all individual aspects of the collective consciousness that some later chose to call God. Positive energy effect. Through the way we think and feel, we can choose to send out negative vibrations or positive vibrations. If we take this one step further, it would mean that the way you and I think and feel can change the world for the better. Our vibrating positive energy can influence those around us. Imagine then creating a global focus with positive emotions. The Japanese author, Masaru Emoto, has done some interesting experiences regarding positive thinking and water droplets. He says that if human speech or thoughts are directed at water droplets before they are frozen, images of the resulting water crystals will be beautiful or ugly depending upon whether the words or thoughts were positive or negative. Mr. Emoto and colleagues have done experiments with water and how it will be affected its frozen formation. They have looked at environmental conditions, pollution, music, and even thoughts and words. Transition is really a universal consciousness phenomenon. While you may have very intimate personal experiences in your life, you are not alone in these experiences. Everything your senses sense are recorded in the Akashic records for later soul review, afterlife review, and these experiences are linked to the greater race consciousness and universal consciousness as well. So thoughts and experiences can be shared. Each chakra represents a level of consciousness, and you may not be aware of all 12 at this time. We have all been experiencing changes in life over the past few decades, and in fact the entire universe is experiencing these energetic shifts. Everyone I know is experiencing some sort of transition. Some are experiencing multiple transitions. By transition, the author means major change in your life. This can be change of career, moving to a new country, sex change, relationship changes, health changes, etc. Now it is true that life here on Earth is all about change. However, the author ventures to say that these are affecting more of us than ever at one time, thus proving the interconnection of everything on Earth. What you do affects everything else at some level, and when you work or when we work together for a certain change, like Occupy Wall Street or World Peace or whatever you put out there, the change is even more rapid and profound. Know that by embracing your life's purpose or calling your empower others, just the simple act of following your dreams opens countless doors. As you say, yes, it echoes throughout the land, the conscious mind. We are one. When we look around us, we see more signs pointing towards the degeneration of the old paradigm, the old institutions that have been able to exist for such a long time and in which people have always put their faith are under attack. There can only be change by first getting rid of the old. Like the earth is releasing its negativity through volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, the people are doing this on a smaller level. New opportunities arise, new chances emerge. We can decide upon ourselves how we will respond to these new opportunities. Will we do nothing while the old system falls apart and we will continue to feed it? Or will we continue on a whole different level? Peoples all across the world are revolting against the current governments, and slowly but steadily we see it on the news. They don't take it anymore and are fed up with the totalitarian regimes in their countries. The consciousness that has been expanding over the past couple of years is being synchronized faster and faster, resulting in people awakening from their 13,000-year-long dream. How did it all come this far? The author thinks it's better to ask ourselves this. How can we return to the levels we used to be on, and how do we remember this? The knowledge is already stored in our bodies and will remain there, waiting to be activated. It's all within the endless possibilities. There's always a conscious choice prior to the return to higher levels of development. After this choice, old traumas, fears, and emotions that prevent development are being transformed. This in turn activates new DNA streams, which contain blueprints of endless information treasures. The high-end technology used in Atlantis, Lemuria, and beyond may have been lost, but the knowledge always remains. The key to gaining access to this technology is compassion. Timelines are lucid and flexible. When we remember how to use them again, it is a lot easier to live in the now and to understand what it means. In the now, you don't have fear because you know you can manifest your own future. Said technology can be instanced for projecting in our own timeline from Lemuria, so we can apply it for contemporary solutions. Why go time traveling with our physical bodies when we can just as easily connect to the many timelines that run simultaneously like a wave pattern? Let's not forget that the technological development of the average human being on Earth has come to a grinding halt the past couple of thousand years. A civilization based on artificial technology will always annihilate itself in the end, because it lost its touch of sense. A civilization based on technology which is related to nature will enrich itself in many ways because it finds its basis in manifestation by thought and love. In this way, people have built the pyramids in Egypt using the technology and knowledge gathered in Lemuria and Atlantis. On the moon and on Mars, we find remnants of pyramids just like on Earth. Even on the backside of Mercury, there are remains to be found. On Venus, we only find etherical pyramids. Like the author said, the technology has been lost, but the knowledge is still alive and kicking. The knowledge that was used to build the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx is stored in an ancient temple in India. At this temple, people often organize meditation sessions. Even Mahatma Gandhi went there once to pray for peace in the world. He found out that when you really want something to happen, you shouldn't look for it outside yourself, but inside. An external force can bring peace, but will you learn then what it's like to have peace? Isn't it much more rewarding to live peace yourself and extend this peace to the world around you? Of course, there's going to be a lot of distorted messages about a so-called savior of humanity and a destruction of Earth, or that people should do as little as possible and lean back. In other words, everything will stay the same. It may be obvious as from which sources these messages originate. There's a lot of new chances emerging now that the old system is falling apart. Let's grab these chances and hold on to them. Become one with them. By learning to accept who we are and what our powers are, we can integrate the light on Earth. Not by holding back, but by creating a new reality. For yourself to begin with. When you stand firmly inside of this power, you will enlighten people around you. See how this works and see how people will become open-minded about it. Even great masters like Mahatma Gandhi and Junvalo Meshtadek, excuse me for that mispronunciation, will always be discovering and learning. The knowledge they bring to this world is a grace. Let's also not forget to stand in our own power and know what we know, believe in ourselves. Then in all of us there will be a mastery up for grabs, not by doubting ourselves, but by having faith in ourselves. The cosmos is at our doorstep. Endless possibilities are just around the corner. Together we synchronize consciousness. We are one. Our spiritual life is a reality within us. Nature lives in an unconscious oneness. Our physical mission is to be conscious, to live in awareness of the moment. Through this consciousness, we guide and plan future events to bring a balance of harmony to the manifested world. We realize we are all part of one whole and desire to know ourselves. We become conscious of ourselves while we create an experienced form without losing oneself in it. Indeed, there is nothing to lose as we transform into a larger self. We become conscious participants in this creation of form, not helpless victims. Our action becomes guided by our consciousness. Our job is to reconcile the formless with the form, to match being with doing, to awaken an unconscious world. Our spirituality is the elimination of psychological linear time to gain the awareness of a timeless presence that guides our temporal lives and reveals a core of inner peace incorporating yet transcending daily events. We awaken within life to transform it. Quickly talk about how we can develop, maintain, and enhance a state of inner presence. 1. Sense an inner stillness apart from daily events. 2. Be still and present, as still is the core of ourselves, space without form. 3. Be aware of breathing. It is our most obvious connection to the infinite. 4. Be aware that the present moment is eternity. 5. Develop non-resistance to events. Resistance gives events an illusionary feeling of power and permanence they don't deserve. 6. Realize form is a passing illusion. You are nothing but awareness itself. 7. Labeling everyone and everything destroys the sense of oneness. 8. Our sense of reality is an illusion. 9. Form is limiting. 10. Keeping the mind still allows the true self to emerge. 11. Your experiences will be determined by your present state of consciousness as your state of mind creates your world and consciousness turns into form. 12. Experience a center of peace in the middle of activity by focusing on breathing and the moment. 13. Most of your consciousness remains formless, staying grounded in the infinite. And 14. Our effect in the physical plane is more power and lasts than it appears through fame and recognition. We must remember who and what we really are, ladies and gentlemen. We must awaken to our true abilities and power. We must understand that we are all interconnected as one, and with all things. We must know that we are all beautiful, amazing, and powerful. We must change the collective internal in order to change the external projection in this holographic illusion of the third dimension that we are all experiencing. We must resonate with love and change this dimensional experience into something beautiful as we escape the mind prison. We are uniquely individual while being collectively one. We are the saviors that we have been waiting for. We are one. That's all I have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to remind you that we need to remember who and what we really are. We are one infinite collective consciousness that were sent here in this third-dimensional holographic illusion to do 3 things. The first thing, we have to gain knowledge. And by knowledge, I mean real knowledge, not exoteric, manipulated knowledge, because that will give us power, the true knowledge. And 2, we're here to love. And I don't mean the love that we've been manipulated to believe what love is. I mean resonate with the higher vibrations of love together so we can collectively change the vibration within this illusion. And 3, we must change this projection that we're living in. We collectively project it, we collectively manifest and create it. Therefore, we can collectively change it at any time we want. We must awaken to our full potential and realize and remember and understand how beautiful, amazing, and powerful we actually are. Stop allowing the various illusions to separate us, like race, like income bracket, like religion, like political ideologies, like fill in the blank. There are so many illusions used to separate us from us, and it's another form of divide and conquer. Remember, we're all one, and we need to understand and wake up from the slumber in order to change what is really all of ours collectively. I love you, ladies and gentlemen. I will talk to you next show. Peace, love, and awareness.